Hey y'all, it's Alicia and welcome back to Alicia's Crafty Hobla and to our final video of the day. Yep, our final video for Monday. And I've saved Heather's for last because your girl got a peek of Heather's amazing mixed media creation earlier and it made me weepy. So I thought I would save it last. I also have to separate this out because Heather has included in here 4 different elements. So I'm going to share half with you tonight, and the other 2 have to be uploaded separately because she included her ATC for the 1000 subby challenge. So I'm going to upload that for tomorrow. And she sent a wee wish. And I didn't even know I made a wee wish. So I'm going to put that up tomorrow too. Do you see this? Yeah, you know what this is, right? This is for our UK friends. And unbelievably, like Alicia Hayes, super supportive and sent a ton of amazing stickers. Heather, like me, had a sticker problem. Heather and I both have been working very hard at not contributing to our sticker problem, and we've both managed to get it under control, and we both have way cut down. I have pretty much eliminated my problem. Heather's probably real close. She sent a bunch of great stickers that I so know they're going to love. And I don't want to pull them all out of here because Heather tied it so prettily. I want to show you, I always like to show you all some of them because they're super pretty. I saw she sent one of the all-time favorite DT stickers that everybody loves, which are let me show you. They're like the spring floral ones that everyone loves to use in pocket letters and cards. And I know they can't get there. So that was a really nice thing to include. But I think you also know Miss Stationery and Stuff's channel. So I see here too, you picked like stuff. She's going to love this one, Heather. I've never even seen this one. Oh, this is great. She is going to love all of these. And this was amazing of you. So that is Miss Heather's contribution to our UK sticker We Wish. And it's a doozy of one. And thank you. Thank you. I know on behalf of our UK friends, everyone's going to be super grateful. So that's part 1. Now, I laughed because I saw that Heather was making me some policy envelopes for my stash. And she's like, well, you know, Alicia likes that thicked up paper. And I'm trying to use up this thin paper stash. But I got to tell you something, Heather. This is not as thin as some paper I've bought, first of all. You know, I told y'all when I was first buying craft supplies, I didn't know much about anything. Now I know a heck of a lot more. And I had this one pad that was like super thin paper. So I hear you. This is not like Prima thick, but it's not tissue paper thin either. Also, you have to remember that like the second I add things to these, the second I add meshing, the second I add backing and all the things that I'm doing right now, the stuff I'm not showing you this week because I've been focused on clean crafting, but the stuff I normally do, these are going to they're going to be a whole other thickness by the time I'm done with them. That's actually the magic. And you know what else? Brenda, you know Brenda, the lady I was telling you all about that I met at Michael's, the really sweet lady. So she, after hearing me talk about triple thick, went and got triple thick. And she's been working on some stuff and she's been using triple thick. And she's like, Alicia, it's magical. Like on the thinnest paper, it makes it much better quality and adds this really beautiful sheen. I'm like, I know, that's why I'm in love with it. So by the time I am done with these, they will feel completely differently. What I appreciate most of all is that you know that I don't have anything in my stash at all. And that lately I'm realizing, like, seeing Ebony's stash and being so inspired by her stamped images and seeing that other people have these things ready, I realize, like, if I ever have the time, I need to be doing this. So at least to have the bases ready, because then I can still pick the color that would be for the person and customize it. But I don't even have this kind of stuff ready. I do it all from scratch. So I laughed when you said in the video, like, I know she likes them thicker. I'm like, no, girlie, I'm super grateful. I love this paper. Y'all see this one with all the ice cream cones? Oh, I'm gonna have fun with that. I like this one too. So I can see why you got this paper pad, because they have amazing prints on them. That's why you got it. The prints are terrific. And they're super versatile and really pretty. Look at that one. Like, they're really pretty. So thank you for making all of these for me. I'll tell you, Heather and I have learned. Initially, I thought I was going to need a die for a policy envelope. Once I learned how to make one, I can now make it in any size. Heather too. Once you learn how to do this, folks, it really isn't hard. And Heather showed you all how to do it in the video, and then you just learn to resize. It's that simple. And these are so fabulous for sending. Heather's using them to send out memdexes and ATCs in the mail. I think it looks so much nicer than a regular envelope. It's a great idea. They're also great for sending goodies. They're great for decorating. I mean, they're fantastic to have in your stash. So thank you. Well, I'm not sharing the ATC with you until I do a separate video because I like to upload them in order with the proper thumbnail, and plus I keep them organized. And the We Wish I'm not going to open until I do the video and I upload it tomorrow. But I am going to open the mixed media. And this is the thing that made me cry today because I watched Heather's video. While I'm cutting this open, we could talk a little bit about postal protocol right now. So there was a discussion in my building about postal protocol, or with two of my neighbors who were asking me about risk of exposure to the illness with all the packages that I get. And what do I do about it? And my mom and I were talking about it tonight too, and I told you all my mom's a clean freak. And she came up with a solution like a week and a half ago. Basically, don't laugh. But when they come in, I leave them by the front door, and not outside, inside, but just by the front door. And there I spray them with Lysol. I spray the outside of the box with Lysol. And what I do is, my mom would prefer, first I use gloves to take everything out and put it neatly on the couch, and I break down the box, and then that night I get it out of the house. But I've learned I can also just open it, like get everything out, then wash my hands really carefully, which is what I did with Heather's tonight. So I have a protocol. So if you're concerned about the virus, just develop a protocol. The Lysol spraying makes a big difference. Now, I was lucky enough that I have to keep, well, I'm not so sure it's lucky, but because of my immunosuppressants, I have to have Lysol in the house all the time. I have to spray my pillows with it. Yeah, great for my lungs, right? I know. Ugh, who knows what I'm breathing in. But I have to have Lysol in the house. So I had. So I just spray the outside of the box and leave it. And because I do these in order of when they come in, sometimes it'll sit by that door. I have a spot by the door. It might just sit there for a day or two. And I used to put them all, I had them all organized in a bin in my room, in my art room. But because of the coronavirus, I do it differently now. And for the smaller packages, like Donna's size, you all saw earlier, I have a plastic holder and it just sits in there. So that's what I'm doing in order to stay safe. I don't know if that's a sure, listen, there have been no protocol rules given to us by our government. I'm just doing it to be extra careful. Oh my goodness. You know what amazes me, folks, just looking at this? I'm glad I have better lighting. You can thank Jelly Bean Junction for being my lighting director. Look at it. Check it out, folks. I cannot believe this is your first ever mixed media project. I think when I was watching your video, that's what blew me away. I think until you do mixed media, you don't know how much work goes into it. You don't realize how many elements. The other day, Crafty Michelle in the UK said that her hands were like covered. I'm a messy maker to begin with, but you all see like all the EC6000s off my hands, but my hands are often stained. You don't realize how many different mediums go into it. It looks like often mixed media has this look of just being a whole bunch of elements thrown together, but actually it's so many different stages, and it takes a long time, and you need patience because each one has to cure. And even if you use a heat tool to hasten that, it's still it's a process and a labor of love. That's what it is. I really enjoy it, but I cannot believe this is your first project because you didn't use one new medium. You used a whole bunch, and that's a lot of learning in one project. So I'm first of all so proud of you, because this was on your crafty aspiration list, and you don't do anything in your life half-hearted. So you could have made a card and realized your aspiration list by doing a mixed media card for the first time and then moved on to something slightly bigger. But no, you took this on. You took this on right away. the first thing that strikes me is how beautiful it is. And I'm astounded that, for someone who's never done mixed media, it's beautiful. The palette is stunning. The texture is stunning. The finishes are beautiful. The layers are beautiful. And I think that's what we should look at, because it's really something else, folks. All right, so the first thing that Heather would have had to have done, it's a canvas, as you can see, and I love that you signed the back. That just makes me so happy. I'm hanging this up tomorrow, and I know exactly where to. So even though these are often prepped, meaning they're gessoed, depending upon the paint you're using will determine how much you want to gesso or if you don't want to gesso. In this case, I could tell that Heather wanted a more distressed finish. So we have a metallic Tiffany blue that is all the way around, and you can see that. And then Heather's done it in different consistencies. So normally when you're doing mixed media, you might do some of this as a straight layer, meaning like you would paint normally, but then you might do some of it dry brushing so that you get some texturized. And what I love is that I can see how much pearlizing you put on afterwards and how much mica, because in the light, when you turn it, folks, the mica makes it iridescent, but only in the light. See that glimmer you're getting? That's mica. Okay, so after painting, then Heather stamped. And then the next stage in mixed media usually is after you start doing a pattern, is you start making other patterns on top of those patterns. And that's where Heather brought in like coppers and pinks. And you'll see like there's like a little lotus print down here. And believe it or not, that's all underneath all of this. So just like that pattern's there, and this floral, see that floral pattern stenciling? That's a floral leaf patterning in that coppery pink here too. That's all the way across, but now it's covered up. But because you don't know where or how you're going to cover it up, and you often have it peeking through like you do down here and here, it's important you do it all over. So after Heather did that, then she took what looks to be like a book page, and she distressed all the edges, and I mean hardcore distressed the paper. And then she stained the edges, and it also looks like she either used vintage collage medium or she coffee or tea stained it. But regardless, she aged the paper. She attached that down. Then after that, oh yeah, see if you tilt in the light, you can really see it. She added speckling of not just mica, but also like like a turquoise patina paint to pick up on the Tiffany blue. And it's also a beautiful contrast to the brown. And then over here, she did paint splattering in a deeper opacity of that same turquoise. And then this, I had to feel it. Yeah. So that's one of those special accents that's used for mixed media. You could use a paper die cut, but you'd have to really use thick cardstock and build it up. If you're fortunate enough to have in your stash a piece of metal, or I have it on the table because I'm working on something, or if you have something like this, which is made for mixed media, then you can paint it. And so what Heather's done is she's gone over that in silver and then brought out more of the patina turquoise, so it all works together. A tiny bit of the copper mica. Again, it's about delicately adding a finish. And then she's got these metal pieces, which are my favorite things to add. They're kind of pricey to buy, folks. I bought them on eBay. I bought them on sale at Hobby Lobby. I'm looking at a pack right now on AliExpress. They're pricey, but they really do add a beautiful dimension to a mixed media project. And both Heather and I, while we like florals and things that are pretty, we also like a little grunge. And these have that element. So Heather's added a few of those. She then put a very nice kind of like a muted pewter polish on it. But then she did a little rubbing of copper, a little rubbing of gold, so that they look like naturally aged over time. And then we have smears of gold, which is very common in mixed media because you want to bring together all the color elements. The trick is to not be too heavy-handed, which Heather hasn't been. She's just been very careful where she's put those, and there's a really nice balance. And there's some pearls tucked in here, both gessoed so that they'd be muted. Now, why do you mute so much with this? Well, there's a lot going on in mixed media. So you kind of have to decide on the focal point. And Heather clearly was like, okay, She didn't want it to be, she wants the spoon to be the focal and the key in the spoon to be the focal, but for us not to lose this either. So how you achieve that is by, see, she had a little glitter, but these she gessoed and muted because she didn't want these to be too bright in contrast to what she wants you. What she wants you to focus on is the spoon. And the spoon she's covered in this, like, it's incredible. It's kind of like that granule medium I told you all about that you can add color to. And she's covered the whole spoon in it. So it's got this incredible texture. Granule medium is hard to work with. It is. And I bet you this is one of the hardest parts Heather had out of the whole project. Because it looks great when it's done. See how like it looks like it's like crater-like? But it's a lot of work to get it to look like that. You did a really good job. And then she's added some color. Over here, the keyhole is done in a faded brassy gold, but that she's muted again. And then the same thing, a little rubbing of copper all around to age it, a little gessoing in the corners to make it more muted. I already spoke about the fact that Heather smartly gessoed the flowers to tone down their effect, but she also gilded some of the edges to bring out all that gold. Down here we have some sprigs that just peek out of the flowers, kind of like stamens. And then we have a couple, but very carefully chosen, of the turquoise enamel dots in very well chosen places. Then next to the spoon we have another floral cluster with another of the metal pieces, again gessoed. This one, however, instead of just being gessoed and gilded, what Heather's now done is added in a little bit of the turquoise. And in the reverse of this flower, she's done it where the gold is brought out and the turquoise is muted. Then we have one of these famous frames, which is used for shabby, it's used for vintage, it's used for mixed media. This was complicated. This is like a pearlized white. And then again, Heather's gone back in and added accents of the turquoise. On the turquoise flowers, she's muted them with gesso and then added gold and then gilded and gessoed this flower. Little metal piece, this one less toned down, so it pulls the silvers out, and one little hidden gemmy here, and then there's some wood behind. And straws were a really interesting choice because they don't even look like straws anymore, and those were treated with a pearlized paint. And then Heather went over that again and brought in some copper, some of the other pinks, the turquoise, so that it would all work together. There's an incredible harmony to this. And again, this does not look like someone who's never done mixed media before. It's beautiful. It's a magical piece. I can't believe you tried so many techniques. Like, you didn't just do the stamping, the staining, and the mica, but you did the granular coating. It's shocking. You did what we call rub and buff, which is, you know, like the same thing that she did on the butterfly, where you take a piece and you rub in colors so that it starts to have like a natural age look. So you did that. You did splattering. You did stenciling. There's very little in mixed media here that you haven't attempted. You basically took all the 7 basic techniques of mixed media and put it into one piece. And that's like a lot of learning in one project. I mean, think about it now. You can do a mixed media tag with your eyes closed now. I'm pretty amazed by your ability to do this. Like, this is, I think this transcends our usual craft project into art. And it makes me, first of all, it makes me feel very blessed to own it and to hang it in my home. But it also makes me really excited for you. You know, you had this time off, and I know that this took you months, and I understand why. And you know I am a very slow maker. But I think after making this, you might understand better why, too. Each of these steps takes a long time. And if you do them too much or too little, it doesn't come out. And you've learned that now. You did such a good job on these flowers. Like, they're just perfect. They don't have, like, they're not too much. They're perfect. You let the color peek through, but they're not the focal point. And I'm amazed that you were able to use the granule medium on your first time. Because, folks, this art medium this is tough to do. This is probably the hardest part of the whole project, I think, actually. Having worked with all these mediums, this is the most challenging to control. I think you transcended it. What's the difference between crafting and art? Crafting, they say, and art share the exact same skill set, the exact same ability and natural talent. But craft is meant for the purpose of trade, meaning you're going to sell it for commerce. And art may never be sold. It's made knowing that it may never, ever be sold. But I think sometimes when we think of what the difference is as people, it's sort of like, could this be reproduced easily? And the answer is no. No, for me, this is art. And it's beautiful. The meaning of the spoons, Heather, is what made me cry. And you knew that. Heather has a special soul. And it wasn't just the amount of work that went into this. It was the symbolism. That spoon means everything. And I know where I'm hanging it because I want to be able to see it. Because, like today, I have enough spoons, even though I'm in a flare-up. But you never know about tomorrow. But I'll always have this. Right? It's very much for me a symbol of what our community's become. You just encapsulated it in one beautiful piece of art. Thank you so much. Folks, this was made by Heather Manning. And you know her as Heather's Handmade Haven. But she's proving to be someone who also can make pretty much anything if given the time. Y'all remember, this is her week off, right? And instead of bleaching her house like this, like a insane person, this is what the kind of work she was doing. And it's beautiful. I feel the same way about Heather. Sometimes we get lucky in life when we meet kindred souls that maybe we wouldn't have met any other way. And Heather's definitely one of those people for me. Thank you. And thank you for raising awareness for both Pat and I. Thank you so much for that. Because that's what this does too. All right, y'all. I'm putting Heather's channel down below. If you're not subscribing to her, she's a fantastic clean creator. I know that sounds funny, right? You're looking at a really complicated mixed media project, but she's a really good clean creator. And she does beautiful, complicated, chunky pocket letters that are just stunning. And then she can make this. So if you're not subscribed to her, you want to be. I'm putting her channel down below. And I can't think of a better way to end tonight than with an extra spoon. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for following me along this journey tonight. I want y'all to stay safe and healthy. May everyone in your family be healthy and happy. And I hope that tomorrow brings you nothing but sunshine and smiles and good health. And I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye for now.